Hello, Jordan Burris here. Would you like to hear a song? Copy that. Today's song blends a few of my favorite things together, bluegrass music and Bigfoot. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our weekly uploads. Now, here is a brief bit of history about the song and the legend of Ole Slew Foot. The song Ole Slew Foot was written by Howard Housey and J. Lee Webb in 1961. It tells the tale of a mischievous bear that continually troubles a man and his farm. Among its many charges, the bear is seen stealing a pig from its pen and climbing a tree and eating all of the honey out of the beehive. The bear is dubbed Ole Slew Foot and is said to be great in stature and quick on his feet. Quote, "He's big around the middle and broad across the rump, running 90 miles an hour, taking 30 feet a jump." The song is charming, lighthearted, and fanciful in its account of the struggle between the man and beast. But the real-life legend of Ole Slew Foot is less comical and more awe-inspiring for the folks of southern Appalachia. Nearly 75 years ago, the North Carolina publication The Silva Herald reported on the mythical creature that was less feared by locals as it was revered. Near Mount Pisgah, North Carolina, the old-timers remember an animal that was, quote, more than just a bear. Mountaineers would come to call the creature Honest John. The bear would be spotted in the corner of one county one day, only to appear in another county 100 miles away the next, covering an impossible amount of terrain, moving swiftly, never slowing, so that tracker hounds could catch his scent. The folks living in the cabins back in the hills held the bear in great esteem. They felt the bear represented the unexplainable power and mystery of the great mountains that shrouded them and kept the rest of the world at bay. To the scores of frustrated hunters that would leave the hills empty-handed, the locals would chide them by saying, "You'll never catch Ole Slew Foot." Debate over the fate of Ole Slew Foot varies. Some say on a winter's night atop Balsam Mountain, the beast was caught in a bear trap. Rather than wait for his captors to come along and finish the job, he chewed off his own leg, escaped, and hobbled off into the woods. Eventually, though, the hunters were said to have caught up to the aging, crippling bear, took aim, and shot him. However, others contend that Honest John never died, that he's still out there following the sun. Even today, there's old-timers who will point towards Balsam Mountain saying, "You see over there, son? That's where Ole Slew Foot stays." Keep an eye out along about sundown, and you might see him crossing that ridge, moving towards the west. That's the reason they never caught him, because he always followed the sun. And you ever heard of anybody catching that? Another angle of the legend of Ole Slew Foot is even more paranormal. Whereas folks in North Carolina and Tennessee see the creature as a bear, albeit an unusual bear, some mountaineers and hunters, particularly in eastern Kentucky, say the beast is more akin to a Sasquatch, or as it's known in popular culture, Bigfoot. One account from a Kentucky hunter named Kyle claimed that a creature that looked like a cross between a giant wolf and a man that stood 7 to 8 feet tall attacked him in the Daniel Boone National Forest. The only reason Kyle was able to escape was that his coon dog Jake intervened and defended him. Once Kyle returned to safety, he told his grandfather of the encounter with the dog man, to which his grandfather spoke plainly. "Son, if you're looking to hunt in these woods, you need to be prepared for the things that you can't explain." Many others have claimed to have encounters in the Daniel Boone National Forest with the dogman creature, or as the locals call him, Slewfoot. Worth noting that one of the writers of the song Ole Slew Foot was J. Lee Webb, brother to Loretta Lynn, who was famously raised in a cabin in Butcher Holler, which is in Johnson County, Kentucky, more specifically, eastern Kentucky. So, was the song Ole Slew Foot written about the mystical bear Honest John in North Carolina, or was J. Lee Webb recounting the legends of his eastern Kentucky childhood? Either way, if you find yourself on a ridgetop in the southern Appalachian Mountains come around sundown, keep an eye out for Ole Slew Foot. And remember, he ain't never been caught, he ain't never been treed. Some folks say he looks a lot like me. I hope you enjoyed that brief bit of history about the legend of Ole Slew Foot. Now here's the song, Ole Slew Foot, written by the late the great Howard Housey and the late the great J. Lee Webb. High on the mountain, tell me what you see. Bear tracks, looking back at me. Go get your rifle before it's too late. That bear's got a piggy and he's headed for the gate. He's big around the middle and he's broad across the rump, running 90 miles an hour, taking 30 feet a jump. Ain't never been caught, he ain't never been treed. Some folks say he looks a lot like me. I saved all my money and I bought me some bees. They started making honey way up in the trees. I chopped down the tree, but the honey's all gone. Ole Slew Foot done made himself at home. He's big around the middle and he's broad across the rump, running 90 miles an hour, taking 30 feet a jump. Ain't never been caught, he ain't never been treed. Some folks say he looks a lot like me. Well, winter's coming on, now it's 20 below. That river froze over, tell me where can he go? I'd chase him up a gully just to trap him in a well. Then I'd shoot him in the bottom just to listen to him yell. He's big around the middle and he's broad across the rump, running 90 miles an hour, taking 30 feet a jump. Ain't never been caught, he ain't never been treed. Some folks say he looks a lot like me. Ain't never been caught, he ain't never been treed. Some folks say he looks a lot like me.